This is Hackathon 101. We're failing.
No, that's me. You guys have been connected. It's me because I set it up before, so I probably forgot to update it.
Digital issues for everything company.
Okay.
We failed to success, Reza. There's no failure. There's only feedback.
There's only feedback. These are.
That's it. That's it. Build, measure, learn our way to success.
We're building lots of character.
Yep.
Love that. Okay. Okay. Here's the Zoom link. IT.
I'm updating Luma link now. Hey, everybody, and just to give you a little heads up of what's happening here in Tulsa. We got some folks in the background saying hi with you in the big screen. Got beer and pizza while the rest of you are calling in via Zoom. Thank you. Thank you very much for dealing with the technical difficulties. We are building, measuring, and learning our way to success. And Myra and I will fix whatever issue happened this time, and we won't do it again. So thanks for your patience. I just want to welcome, we're going to start the night with Reza Rassool, the founder and visionary behind the nonprofit laboratory Kwaai. Reza, take it away.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Kwaai. Gosh, it's a sunny day here in Southern California. Thanks for joining from wherever you're joining. I am channeling my inner John Connors. John, I've got my hacker hoodie. This could be yours. This could be yours. This very one. No, I've got a box of others on the way. Okay, so what are we doing? We focused our hackathon on a very immediate problem, the problem of emergency preparedness, emergency response, and recovery. So the question we ask ourselves as technologists is, how could technology and AI help prepare us better for the next crisis? This time it was a fire, but it could be an earthquake, it could be a flood, it could be wind, it could be a hurricane or tornado. Now more than ever, it's important for us to become resilient, to become self-reliant. We probably should not be adopting the mode of relying on insurance or the federal government to come to our aid. It's really important for us to practice a measure of resilience and just situational awareness and all of those things that we need to be better prepared for. A world where these crises are probably going to become more frequent. They're not going to become less frequent. Los Angeles is probably going to endure more firestorms than it did in the past. So we've brought together some technologists, some technology platforms, and we're really grateful for the sponsorship of Mimik. Mimik is one of the leading companies in the area of hybrid edge orchestration and control, and bringing artificial intelligence to the edge, down from the centralized clouds and to the edge, but a hybrid mix of both. So that's one thing. We've also got sponsored by the company called Personal AI. Personal.ai is also one of our sponsors. So in this challenge, you can use a collection of technologies to develop solutions along the themes we're talking about. John will talk about the two tracks that we have. I'd like to spend a little bit of time about Kwaai. We formed Kwaai. Kwaai is now a movement of just under 800 volunteers. People that are moved by the notion that AI is heading off in a dangerous direction, and they feel compelled to do something about it, rather than sit back and be passive observers or write whiny blog posts and simply pursuing more clicks for their posts. That is frankly a waste of time and a waste of your energy. Now is a window of opportunity where you can make a change. There's no cavalry coming. You are the cavalry. So Now is the time for you to participate. We're focusing our energy specifically on this hackathon, but there's a broader movement. There's a broader movement to democratize AI, not in a fancy esoteric way. We're building open source software and you need to be part of it. So Kwaai is a movement. It's not compulsory if you are joining the hackathon to be a member of the movement, but I'd urge you to do so. It's free to join. Go to Kwaai.ai, click the sign up button, and become a member. And then you'll be part of a community of critical AI thinkers, not the cheerleaders of the status quo, but people that really feel that they need to be part of a change and they need to be the ones that actually effect that change. You only do that by organizing. We don't do that as individuals. We have to organize and become a resilient movement, an opposition movement, a counterweight to the monopolizing forces. So I'm going to get off my soapbox now and hand over back to John. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Reza. You on the soapbox is always fun. We love your inspiration and your excitement. So for those of you not aware, Myra, I was wondering if you could get links in the comments, if that works for us. Link number one would be.
I just did the Slack link. I just took that from your calendar dates master spreadsheets.
Yeah, right. And can you also do the document link too? So we've got tonight's schedule. We've got, sorry, I gotta pull it up. So we're planning on giving people, we're going to give people the ability to say what's going on with themselves feeling wise. So we wanted to think about your feelings, but due to the technical difficulties, your feelings aren't welcome. You know, just play it around, but ultimately, sorry, there's no room for feelings at this time. We had issues logging in and we had to deal with it. So right now we're going to encourage everybody to join Slack. Why? Because this is an orientation and we're looking to empower you to build teams without us after this 2 hours are up. So if Slack is our communications command center, and Myra here is our Slack maven. She's the subject matter expert on how to deal with Slack. She'll give a little bit of overview in a little bit. But so right now we're gonna, everybody join the Slack meet and greet channel. So there's some channels on Slack. Myra, could you dump the hackathon channel names in there? Hackathon
Yes,
meet and greet is the, what was that?
Yes, I can, but maybe if we want, can we first make sure everybody has logged into Slack? Is anybody waiting to do that?
Has everybody like, so Jason Bardo raised his hand?
Yeah, so Jason, can you click on that join.slack.com link that I posted?
Yeah, it looks like people are joining right now. So the step one is join. Chuck, you join. You can pull out your computer and join the link or from your phone.
So then let me share my screen.
Sorry.
And
Yeah.
I can help you all find.
Are you in the Zoom?
I'm in Slack.
No, I'm sorry. I'm speaking to someone here. I'm going to put myself on mute. I can't really do two things at once. I get a little. So Carlos, can you, what's your name? Can you help Livia get on Slack? Thank you very much. So from Slack, there's a few channels. Myra, did you post the channels in the comments?
Yes, I'm doing that right now.
Channel we're going to is Hacker Meet and Greet, Hackathon Meet and Greet.
Mm-hmm.
And the point is, we want to encourage you to learn Slack. So just like we're failing our way to success. You know what I mean? You find your way to success using a platform you might not be used to using every day. And we want you to meet other people. So post in Hackathon Meet and Greet. Hello, my name is, where I'm located, and a skill set. You know what I mean? Like, are you a designer? Are you a developer? Are you a Jack or Jill of all trades? You know, what do you bring to the table? And so that's assignment number 1.
So once you have joined Slack, the way to go find all the channels is to click this link over here that says more, go down to channels, and John has made it easy because they all start.
Mimik starts with Mimik, but the rest start with Hackathon.
Right, so they all start with Hackathon. And so if we put that in the search here, I've already joined all of them, but you can see that you don't even need to go to the channel to join. Just click here where it says join. For me, it says leave because I've already joined, but you should have it say join for all the channels that you want to join. Probably not this one. This is a closed channel, but everything that starts with the pound sign or hashtag, if you're not as old as I am, and go ahead and join those.
So while we are going to be moving on to talking a little bit, we're going to just start the process of introducing people. We want you to learn by the end of this portion of our assignment, we want you at least to know how to do a Slack huddle with someone that you like. And maybe put yourself on mute if somebody's introduced themselves and you're like wanting to get to know them. Myra, can you show them exactly how to do a huddle? Put yourself on mute so we don't hear it on the major Zoom. Okay. And jump in a little chat with somebody, a voice chat with somebody, and hang out with them just for a minute or two, okay. Not too long.
I will, right? And it won't be you because I know you're speaking, so I'll show how that's done.
And while sharing screen, you're not sharing screen yet, right, Myra? You're not sharing your screen yet, so we don't see you do anything.
Thanks, AC.
It's like trying to rub your belly and pat your head at the same time. So the huddle button, for those of you who don't know it, is that right at the top of the Slack user interface. It looks like a set of headphones. And it's the way for you to have a conversation with someone in real time. It's a way of calling them. It's an in-app call. And there you see a huddle going on between Myra and AZ. So when you form teams, this is the way that you're going to be able to communicate. I see Philippa's got her hand up.
Hello. Can you just elaborate a little bit more on teams? Because I come here with people I know, and are we forming a team, or are we meeting new people to form a team, and how many people belong on a team?
Fantastic. John, explain.
Yeah, great question. So we were first getting you used to the tool, but we're sausage making, so I appreciate your comfort in the discomfort, Philippa. I hope I said your name right. Philippa, is that correct?
It depends where in the world you are. My parents are from England, so it's Philippa. But I'm in Philippa, yes, so it's often Philippa. It goes both ways.
No, I want to do it right. So Philippa. So we're not totalitarians here. So we're all about freedom. That said, the guidance is around 4 to 5 per team. And in the breakdown we're going to get to in a little bit is a catalyst, a team catalyst, a visionary, surrounded by a hacker, hipster, hustler. That's the game to make a to make a startup that lasts and lives well beyond this hackathon. So the Hacker Hipster Hustler is the developer, which you get quite a few here in town in Oklahoma. The room filled up, and it's pretty exciting. We have designers, which make things beautiful, and the hustler is the business person who'll use LinkedIn and use linked radar even if it's against the rules. You know what I mean? Who'll reach out to people and inspire people. So the catalyst is the CEO inspiration, visionary, and most likely catalyst will be pitching ideas in our meet and greet channel. And we're trying to get people learning the tool. So after we close this orientation process up, we get an opportunity for you to continue to learn. And anyone who doesn't find a team, we were going to find you a team. Even if we have to make a new team with a new catalyst, we're going to get everybody on a team who showed up here today.
So were we able to all see how to start the huddle?
Yeah, we saw it. It seemed to work for you. The headphone.
Yes.
The headphone.
So it's the headphone when you open a chat with anyone. Now, don't do this because it'll get very noisy. But I'm pretty sure you can maybe even do a huddle with a channel. But that might work if and when you all create your own groups or when you want to get assigned to a group. So you can see, like, in a channel, for example, hackathon announcements, we can start a huddle in there as well.
The assignment right now is not to do that. The assignment right now is to find one person, and even if it's just a quick touch point, put mute on your computer so that, or on your phone, however you're zooming in with us.
Yeah.
So you and call one person so that you know how to huddle. And if you don't know how to huddle, let's make sure we don't move from this portion of the programming until you know how to huddle.
So you start a huddle in here. Once more, let's see.
Hey, darling, I'm on a call at the moment. I see you huddle with me. It's my wife. I'm going to hang up, okay? Because bye.
Okay. So again,
Ruth's being funny. She's huddling with me. Too much. I didn't mute. I apologize.
Hello.
But she showed how it could be done. Okay.
The volume from our meeting.
Yeah. Okay, so that was an example of how you can make an in-call. Yeah, let's see.
Another thing is, right, just another thing. When you do a huddle, you can also, I'm going to mute myself in the huddle, but when AZ joins, AZ, please mute yourself when you join. What I want to show you is that in that same huddle, if you open it in a larger window, you are able to screen share as well. So that'll be useful when, you know, you guys are doing team meetings. Obviously you're able to chat, but you're also able to share your screen and keep notes of whatever you're discussing.
Okay, so another question.
Yes.
Someone requested a huddle with me, but I can't talk to them because I don't know how to shut off the audio from this group meeting to get on.
Oh yeah, you don't know how to hit the microphone to Zoom. Got it.
So no, I can mute, but I can mute so you don't hear me and they can hear me, but I can't take my volume. I don't know how to.
Got it. Yeah.
John, I have a response. That would be if you use headphones. If you're using headphones, your mic is not going to pick up the speaker audio because Zoom by itself will eliminate that reverb, but Zoom to Slack will not eliminate it.
Sorry, but AZ, I appreciate your insight. It's actually because, and I've had this issue too when I do tech support for TurboTax. If someone's talking in the background while we're having a huddle with headphones on or without, it is maddening. So Philippa, you are very correct that it might be something you have to do on the phone, on the mobile device. That would be the one way to then turn your volume down here. That would be the one way to solve the problem of not hearing us speak in the background as you're having a huddle with somebody.
Ah, okay. So use two devices so that I can mute my computer. Still love to hear you guys, but I can pop into a huddle. Okay, that you have solved it.
Fantastic.
Mm.
Okay, let's get cracking with the agenda.
Yeah, so go ahead, Mara.
So the next thing, before you move, I just want to make sure if everyone's joined a couple of hackathon channels.
Yeah.
We had hoped that there'd be huddles and team building happening. We're getting over the technical hurdles, it seems as though. So we're going to move on to different content shortly. But let's first be acclimated with what Slack channels we all should be on while we're on Slack right now. All right. Myra, you taking us there?
Yes. So if you can see, we have the hackathon announcements, the hackathon help desk. Do you want to walk through what each of these is about?
Yeah. Hackathon meet and greet is where you meet people, where catalysts pitch ideas, where you introduce yourself, you have chitter chatter, hello. It's like introductions on most Discord servers or most hackathon meet and greet spaces. Hackathon Media, we're going to have Brad Parks is the founder of the Hollywood Film Festival. He's going to be kind of leading us to decentralized content creation. The sausage making of this experience might be compelling enough to make into a larger, greater artifact that we're exploring with our teams. We'll need to have content disclosure agreements and stuff before we actually collect that information. But that's Brad is the leader of that channel. Hackathon Emergency Management, for those of us building emergency management tools, Edge AI on emergency management or personal AI for emergency management. This is where all things emergency management are going to be spoken of, where people will be able to give insight and perspective. Hopefully we'll get Chris on it by the end of this evening if he's coming.
So quickly,
And
John, if I can say one thing, this was a hackathon channel that wasn't in my grouped hackathon account. So if I go to the channel, I go to where it starred, and I pick, these are my different groups. You can create your own groups. So I'll add it to my hackathon group. And then you'll see that channel, instead of in all channels, has now moved to this section. So I can keep all the hackathon channels in one group.
That's because you got 1,000 channels that you're members of.
Yes. But
Yes,
just
no
for
question.
everyone also to kind of clean up and have it in one place. Go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. Hackathon announcements we're going to try to keep the chatter on that as low as possible, because it's supposed to be just like a bullhorn one way, but the settings here aren't the same as Discord, so we have allowed you to speak in it. We welcome you to encourage to answer in threads if something's compelling on announcements, but please don't jam up that channel too much. Hackathon mentorship is where every single one of the 671, I believe, Slack members before today that were on the Kwaai Slack channel, the Kwaai Slack server, are all in this mentorship channel. The richest, I throw hackathons all the time, even with the lovely hiccups. We always smile with it. One of the cool things is sometimes I have to build community from scratch. The value of Kwaai is that there's already OG talent here. There's legitimate talent who shows up weekly, who's really compellingly excited and engaged. And we're going to be shouting out at least once or twice daily key mentors that you can reach out to build a successful project that is hopefully fundable by March 7th. Then Hackathon Help Desk is where we'll have our Mimik crew and our personal AI folks. And if you have technical product, business needs, questions, please call out on Hackathon Help Desk, and we'll answer the question from there.
Do you want to talk a little bit about what the channel summary is? Just because all hackathon channels, most of them, have this, and it tells you who you can reach out to, depending on what your issues are. If they're not responding to you with one-on-one, please put it in the hackathon channel itself.
Also, this is where the evergreen links for your channel will live.
Yes.
All the other stuff just scrolls away, and people say, "Oh, can you resend that link?" This is where the evergreen links should go, and the channel leader, the channel manager, should be able to edit this and also delegate management control. So this is your communication channel. The rest of the channel just scrolls around, away. It's a chat. Okay.
So I'm sorry, Myra, I didn't get your feedback. Were you saying tell them about the canvas?
Yeah, Reza and I just talked about that. So that's where all the main documentation, all the main information that we want everyone to access within the channel will live. Like Reza was saying, everything else is chat. So within the chat, you might lose things.
Okay, that's called the canvas. It's noted as channel summary on the top.
Yeah,
it'll show you
can change the name of it if you want to, but they're generically they're called canvases, and here they've got renamed to channel summary.
Okay. Yeah, they will all be filled out by tomorrow AM for sure, Central Time. So next one is Mimik Kwaai Hackathon. And Mimik's the only one that has their name first. Mimik is our really incredible sponsors. The CTO, Michel Berger, is here, and he's going to be speaking with us very shortly. And on that channel is where you'll be able to get all the resources and insights from the hybrid edge, cutting edge team that exists there. And I believe they have 7 people from their community already on there. Then if you choose not to build a emergency management focused project and you want to just do a personal AI project, and I don't mean just in a negative way, I mean like any theme whatsoever that's personal AI focused, this is where that track will hang. And I'm probably going to invite everybody from our server there as well, because Kwaai is a personal AI movement that's decentralized and inspired. So everybody in our server should probably be abreast of what's going on in that channel. Then last one, we will be doing at the end, when you submit a 3-minute video at the completion of the hackathon, we will have all those project submissions in one space, because we want to drive the investors on March 7th to the hackathon submissions channel, and from there show them the 3-minute pitches that you're all going to be developing. More about that later, but first we want to inspire people with content. The thought was not to get too deep into the weeds yet without inspiring people first. So, but that was just a quick overview. Now it's time to hear from Michel Berger, the CTO of Mimik. And you're on mute, Michel.
I'm always on mute. Okay. So I'm Michel Berger. I'm the CTO of Mimik. I can present something, or I will just talk about it, and because tomorrow we'll have a more in-depth presentation done by Maz and our field engineer and myself about our product and some architecture pattern and some deployment strategy. So, but first, quickly, so Mimik has developed is pioneering like hybrid edge cloud. So what does it mean? It means that instead of running microservice on backend systems, you now can run a microservice on device, even that type of device. So it's run on Android, iOS, Raspberry Pi, QNX if you really want a real-time operating system. But it runs on a variety of things, and it's an SDK which basically provide you 9 things. One is a microservice runtime, which is WASM-based, an AI runtime, which is a Llama CPP based. It allows you to run an AI model, and has an API gateway in order to allow you to expose API. And then there is a whole bunch of discovery mechanism, because at the edge, when you have devices next to each other, they should be able to discover each other, and then they should be able to communicate with each other. Yeah, and this independent from the network on which they are. And that's basically one of the key components of mimik technology. And then we have like security, observability, and configuration, which are the classic management aspect of a system. And so all of this is condensed in an SDK, which you download on your machine, like a Mac or phone or a Raspberry Pi or an NVIDIA device if you have NVIDIA. And then you can deploy a microservice in order to do to develop a system. And what you will get then is you will get API, but instead of this API to be in the cloud, this API will be directly on the device, which means that low latency, privacy, and all of these type of things will happen. And this SDK comes also with a series of microservices we have developed very focused on AI in order to help develop AI agents and AI agent-based solutions. Like we have an M model store, which is storing a model, like a GGUF compliant model, which means that your microservice can fetch the model, use the AI runtime to run it, and now it becomes an agent. You have an MAI chain, which is a configurable mechanism to create chain of agents. It's inspired on LangChain, but not LangChain. It's more like a microservice view of it. MKB, which is a knowledge store, which is kind of like a very simple vector database in order to implement a RAG. And then we have something called MInsight, which basically allow you to observe everything which is happening on your device, considering all of these microservices, or on a group of devices which can communicate with each other. So again, this SDK is available, so you can just go on developer.mimik.com and you can download it. And what do you want to do with this? So in the context of disaster recovery, you have to think about the fact that, for example, imagine that the global infrastructure is not available because there is a hurricane and everything has been wiped out. The only thing you can do is local. So which means that now you, instead of having to rely on the cloud agent in order to analyze signal coming from IoT sensors or video feed, you can now start to analyze this directly on your device, even because the device is a smart device which has itself a video feed. And so we're doing demos currently for NVIDIA, for example, where it's a video camera and we're adding a engine to that video camera in order to make it smarter. Or, and that's where it starts to be interesting, it's you could have like a tablet which basically run memory, discovering a device locally, and then start to communicate with that device, like fetching the video feed or fetching the result of the analysis of the video feed, and then applying something directly on the tablet in order to do emergency response. So which means that now you can think that you don't need the global network, you don't need the cloud, you basically have device talking to other device directly or communicating directly. The connectivity is assumed. It's like maybe a Wi-Fi, a small Wi-Fi network, local. And then once you have the Wi-Fi network, because of memory, you can actually now create what we call the service mesh, which is a combination of service running, microservice / agent running together in order to form a system. So for disaster recovery, for wildfire detection, similar. So you have sensor detecting wildfire, and then you have a fireman with a tablet which can communicate directly with the sensor in order to do local decision making. Smart cities, emergency service optimization is another one. like then you have like industrial disaster management, oil spill, chemical leaks is also something where we have worked with oil industry to do local maintenance of the name oil rig pump directly without having to go through the cloud. So all of this is because, again, you form a service mesh at the edge, you have microservice communicating with each other, discovering themselves, each other, and then communicating via API in order to exchange information. So that's kind of like in a very short time, a description of what Mimik is. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate.
Yeah, so I do see a lot of questions in the chat. If anyone wants to, raise your hand.
So the question, Maya, we had only reserved 4 or 5 minutes for this. The point for this, no, it's okay, it's okay. The point for this was to give us the chance to go and either go actually in the Mimik Hackathon channel and ask Michelle all your questions there. So this is evergreen. Questions that happen on Zoom, unfortunately, Zoom's the thing that dies after a meeting usually. And we want this to live for the next 12 days as an active corpus.
Let me do this. For any questions that you have for Michelle, I'm going to put the name of the channel.
It's a Mimik Kwaai Hackathon.
Yeah. And please go there and ask away.
Ask away. That's where Yoda of Mimik lives. And we're going to hang out with Yoda for Mimik there. And we're really excited and very inspired by Mimik's participation and sponsorship on this event. So thank you very much, Michelle.
No problem. And again, tomorrow at 10 o'clock, we will do a more in-depth presentation on how to install MemoE, how to deploy a microservice, and some architecture pattern.
Tomorrow at 10 o'clock, we have the master calendar overview coming up soon, but that definitely mark a calendar for that. Next up is Christopher Cooper, a retired fire captain. Christopher, is that what I heard about you, or you mind unmuting and talking a little bit to us for 5 minutes or so about emergency management on the ground as you've seen it as an LA fire veteran?
Yeah, thank you for the brief introduction, John. I'm a retired 40-year firefighter, 35 years with the Los Angeles Fire Department. As you know, the department is going through a lot of turmoil today. They just released the fire chief, and they're going to have an interim fire chief until they get a permanent one. But this is a very worthwhile endeavor, trying to develop this platform for emergency management and crisis management as well. And my experience with it is both boots on the ground as well as administrative with the city of Los Angeles. The perception that I see, what we're trying to do here is develop a tool that state, local, and federal officials could use in order to be more effective in developing decisions for real-time emergencies. So the federal government actually has there's 18 different categories of emergencies. So fire is our most recent example of an emergency that could have used this type of platform to have a more effective delivery of service to our citizens. So the upcoming incident that we all have on the horizon is the earthquake. This fire, trust me, is just a test of what we could eventually see from an earthquake, because that would be region-wide as opposed to generalized. So the importance of what we're doing here is paramount. The fact that we've got all this synergy and all this effort going toward that end is very impressive. But anyway, that's my background, and I'm looking to contribute any type of information or any type of team building that I can bring to the table in this endeavor.
tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific. Thank you so much, Christopher. So if you have any questions for Christopher, go to hackathon-emergency-management. Myra, could you post that in there? Thank you so much. So, and Christopher will be guiding us as well as Brad and a lot of the, Brad, you have a question, please.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm chatting with Victor back and forth. So in 2021, we used Slack as a backend, and our program partner, Jonathan, built an Edge app on cell phones in Afghanistan for 128,000 Afghans. And we used that process. And actually, I'm pulling screen caps up. I'll share tomorrow, John. But it's kind of like all these things come back. So, Victor built the fire services of Afghanistan and stuff all over the country. And so I think that there's literally thousands of lessons learned in that. I'd love to be able to share with the Mimik team, because we used it in real life situations to use these technologies to share information, literally including walking sat phones in from Pakistan because we couldn't count on connectivity because Taliban nonsense. So all the stuff that you're saying tonight, it's almost like the universe put this together in kind of a perfect time. So A+.
Brad, and Michelle, I'm not sure about either one of your availability, but if one of you could join the 10 a.m. Mimik event, and or Michelle, if anyone in your team could join the emergency responder fire department event at 2. So 2:22 at 2. We're here. Our net worth is based on our network, and we are all rich right now. And one of the things we haven't talked about is the real business use case possibility. Love or hate the current administration, they're transforming emergency management, and AI, personal AI for emergency management, hybrid edge AI for emergency management could be extremely lucrative. And if we bring the solutions to a chaotic government problem, we get paid. So next step is,
and Christopher are both right, because if the earthquake hits LA, all the systems are going to fail. That's going to happen. And this resource might be the most critical resource that you could have, even if only a block captain had it in every block, Chris, would be a huge advantage.
and I'm also seeing from Reza, he's calling out Nelson Cox, a emergency management professional, I believe, in the LA area. Nelson, do you have a moment to introduce yourself and give us a few-minute download of what it's like on the ground in emergency management and how you think potentially AI could help?
Absolutely. My name is Nelson Cox. I'm the emergency manager at California State University, Northridge. I've been in the field for over 10 years and have actually deployed to a variety of disasters throughout the nation. So as an emergency manager, the focus that we put most of our efforts towards is the planning. And I think that's where AI would allow us to plan more intentionally and be more strategic about our responses and reduce the curve of error in those plans, meaning the wide span of information that we can gather from AI alone would allow us to really take into consideration every single possible dynamic that we should consider creating preparedness plans for any of our entities and jurisdictions. As an example, at Cal State Northridge, obviously it's a higher ed type of emergency management that I am focusing on right now. And some of the challenges are very different to that of that we would find in the municipal aspect, yet we still linger as a function of every jurisdiction, specifically if you are in a state university. We have our own emergency operating procedures. As you may have seen last year, we had a lot of civil unrest due to political issues that were going on globally. Currently, every university is facing a major crisis with a lot of the government policies that are being practiced. So being able to gather all that intel in such a short amount of time, being able to add those within our procedures, policies, and strategies would make our response efforts much more capable and robust, but most of all, it will let us also understand exactly which relationships we need to have ahead of that issue. And as an emergency manager, what we're basically are chaos coordinators. We want to bring everybody to the table ahead of the issue and make sure everybody has the input and a part of the discussion at the table to make sure that we can all get the necessary perspectives and the ability to really respond to anything that is incredibly out of the ordinary within our areas and municipalities. I'm actually pretty excited to learn more about this and excited to provide how emergency management can benefit from this and learn from it as well. It's something that I know some of my colleagues at Cal State Northridge who are specifically in the IT section and info security would like to know more about. Unfortunately, they weren't able to make it with today, but they hope to join in the future. But thank you for the invitation.
Thank you, Nelson. Again, I will be putting in the channels that you can talk to everyone in. So please reach out to Nelson in the Hackathon Emergency Management.
And Nelson, give my apologies to the rest of the family. I'm not going to be at Chewy's or the Chewy's alternate meeting. We're normally socializing on Friday evenings, and this is the stuff that's keeping me occupied now.
There's some karma here, Reza. Not to sound like you, but my lead intern for the Hollywood Film Festival is a film and television production student, Max Justice Dubner at CSUN. And CSUN has an amazing film and television school, and it's the home of an earthquake of significant proportion. So CSUN could be a really big resource for us in this project.
Thank you very much.
John?
Really, really valuable stuff. I just wanted to quickly give Carlos Moreno, who supported Pizza and Beer and Space here in Tulsa, a chance to say a quick hello. He hasn't signed in yet, so I'm going to give him the space, my little workspace here, because he just wants to say hello to everybody here in Tulsa who showed up, which is quite a few people, as well as everybody here who's shown up online. He's been ferrying people from the front door most of the meeting, and I just want to give him a chance to say hey and thank him for the.
That's great, and also maybe you can show us the whole room after we speak to Chuck.
Will do.
Yeah, right on. So yeah, thanks for coming. This is a kind of a milestone moment for me personally. I was a volunteer for the local brigade of Code for America here in Tulsa for about 12 years. And Luke is here, and one of the OG, I was just telling John that one of the OG hackathons that Luke and I organized was with the Tulsa Fire Department. My uncle was a fire chief for Santa Clara County, so this is a topic that's very near and dear to me. So thank all of you. Thank Reza and John for organizing all this and getting it all together. And I'm super excited to see so many faces here in Tulsa. And the project Luke and I worked on was with the fire department. They were getting all their dispatch information sent to an old dot matrix printer that would print out all the information about the call, and then there'd be a number on that printout, on that readout, that corresponded to a paper map. And like the truck was just like the staff of the truck was just having to figure all this stuff out, like where the house is burning, while the call was happening, right? So like minutes of time were being wasted. This manual process.
Just a quick thing, Chris Cooper, you're sharing your screen even if you may not want to be.
Nice.
Just FYI, before you click on anything else.
If you can't allow here, you'll have to go to system preference, system settings, and allow there and restart the app to be able to enable mic. Go ahead.
Christopher didn't mean to be sharing his screen.
That's what I was thinking. I just wanted to make sure.
Hopefully those tech issues can be worked out. But anyway, just wanted to say hi. Just wanted to say this is our first hackathon in Tulsa in what, 5 years, Luke? So it's been a while. I'm glad to be back. We're glad to be back in person. There is a hackathon.
Are you going to be joining the Slack?
So the Black Futures Hackathon will be happening tomorrow, and will be hosted by Recoders Guild. So if you aren't tired of hackathons by tonight and you're itching for more, there'll be another one tomorrow, and I'll post that information on the Gradient Slack as well.
Chuck, are you going to be? Sorry to interrupt, Chuck. Are you going to be joining our Slack channel?
Carlos will be joining our Slack channel, yes.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Carlos. I'm so sorry.
Carlos already joined our Slack channel, but he will make sure he's noted there. But this is everybody hanging out in Tulsa, in room, eating beer and yeah, I mean eating pizza and drinking pizza. Yeah.
Wait, you can barely see them.
You're blurred at the moment.
Yeah, the blur is causing us to not see the people properly.
Yeah, unblur your background, John. And I only said Chuck because Reza said Chuck from HUD.
Yeah, that's what I thought should speak next.
Oh, sorry about that.
Chuck, speak next, please.
Yes, I am work at U.S. Housing and Urban Development, and I can help people with the kind of data that is available there. Sorry, I can guide teams on what data they could use, and help them about how some of the policies work and how the funding happens. So if they want to incorporate any of that into their projects, I'll be glad to help.
Excellent. Okay, it's going to be really useful. It's AI lives and breathes on data, and so having that, but just for situational awareness, having data be great. Thanks so much, Chuck, for your support.
Well,
is there anyone else in the community, Reza, before we get into the completing
well, I'd suggest hands up. So Ira's got his hand up.
Yeah, Ira, please.
As we start to ideate all the various creative ways that we can make use of the technology, there are a couple of perspectives that were not represented here, and I also want to make sure that we're aware of the fact that even as we start to roll out in the next couple of weeks, there are other people that will operate in a mentorship capacity. One of the ones that couldn't be here is Ron Rivlin, and we spoke with Ron not too long ago. If you look him up on Google, you'll find that he's that guy whose home burned entirely to the ground, along with 30 original Andy Warhol paintings and Liechtenstein and any number of priceless relics that are now just gone. And Ron's response to it isn't one of pain, where he's looking at it as what can we do to prevent this from happening again, based on what I know personally. That was a very unique experience. So Ron Rivlin is somebody that if anyone is so inspired to take a look at this from the point of view of how do we mitigate things like priceless relics, and it's not just personal art, it could be even on a museum basis, to be thinking in that way. And then beyond that, because I know that we're going to be bringing on other mentors along the way, I'd like to offer myself as having a mentorship channel so that we can triage that if there are mentors that are coming in late and they're great ideas, they need to find those mentors, I can help put that together.
That's a great idea, Ira. Thank you. John, did you get that?
There's been a lot of noise in the background. I didn't hear everything that was said about the mentorship, but please tell me.
Go ahead, Ira. Can you repeat what you said?
Yeah, I'll wrap it up quick, just to say that in addition to me finding out how available Ron Rivlin will be for anyone that's interested in dealing with solutioning around priceless relics, that's an option. Secondly, I'm also available as a mentor so that as new mentors come on board, and or if there are people that have ideas and they don't know which mentor to go to, I'm happy to have that dialogue with people.
So he wants to
mentor lead.
Onboarding the mentors, yes.
Perfect. Love that. Thank you, Ira. Appreciate it very much. And I heard the first part for sure. So thanks so much. Brad.
Just real quick, I live in Dubuque, Iowa most of the time. And there's an event tonight I'm going to after this. Nick Arnson from Dubuque once is the vice mayor of Altadena, whose home burned down. Two other families from Dubuque's home burned down. And Kate Mulgrew, who was Captain Janeway on Star Trek, her daughter's home burned down. There's an event tonight to help them raise funds. And so I think that the breadth of the disaster in LA, most people maybe don't think about it, but it touches the whole country. And so I think that what Ira's saying is, because Nick's also going to participate as a city council member and a vice mayor of a city who lost his own home. He's very grateful for what you're doing, Reza and John, and your whole team, because he'd like to not have that happen again, preferably.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks so much.
No question.
Wow.
Riz,
Overwhelmed.
any words before we get deeper into the orientation? You want to, where do you want to take us for the next few minutes?
I'm okay. You drive the agenda. You've got the list.
No worries. Yeah, I mean, the next part is nuts and bolts. It's getting deeper into understanding the tools. And so I was just checking to see if there's any inspiration left before we got deeper into the nuts and bolts portion of it. So, yeah.
I moved here today. I'm available. I don't code.
John, if I may briefly, before the meeting started, while the previous meeting session was going on, we were talking about how it's not just a technical session, how there's going to be ideation leading to product development with the idea of monetization or implementation of the ideas. So we're not just taking a concept, we're taking a concept and ideally operationalizing it. So it's not just the technical aspect. So I'd love for the technical conversation to happen within the context of, hey, this is part of a larger scale effort that we're all going to do. And what we're going to do is start with a concept, get to a solution, and if possible, try to find connections to either monetization or emergency management or disaster recovery, but there are going to be goals for what we're going to do. And the technical is only here to support the larger mission. Just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that, AZ. Thank you very much. So just to let you know, when I said technical, I meant like the technical aspects of the process of ideation and development of a hackathon. I'm not sure if you recall from our experience hacking here in Tulsa, I'm not the most technical dude. So I'm not having the technical conversation of how to code any aspect of anything. The only technical elements I'm bringing to the table is the sausage making of how to go from the chaos of nothingness to somethingness that gets funded.
Exactly.
And the point, so I appreciate you stepping in there at that point.
You're on it. Thank you. Go ahead.
You're welcome.
Okay. I think I'm just going to say a word just maybe to wrap up the intro part. My wife and I and 2 children arrived here 31 years ago. Our flight into Los Angeles was scheduled for January 17, 1994. You might all recall what that day was, or many of you too young to recall, but that was the day of the Los Angeles earthquake. Now, fortunately, our visa was delayed a few days, and but we would have flown into a city in utter chaos. We would have landed about noontime, and LAX was only shut down for a few hours after the earthquake, but was open at noon. As it turned out, we arrived the first week of February. Gosh, 31 years ago, and at that time, the level of technology was such that, phone lines were down if you tried to call in from outside. They were trying to maintain all the circuits for local coordination. And it was prior to the era of everyone having mobile phones, and just being able to coordinate evacuation and escape, and just understanding where your family are now was very difficult to do then. So 31 years later, gosh, well, LA hasn't had an earthquake since 94, a significant one. Christopher just mentioned, hey, that's likely to be the next disaster coming. I mean, just think about the utter shock that a city has. There's little in the way of early warning systems for earthquakes. So the sort of preparedness, you can't really glean from data. We don't know how to do that yet. But You've got it. There's stuff that we need to, that technology can help us to become more prepared for those types of sudden catastrophic upheavals of our lives. So, gosh, it's a very somber note to move on to the next chapter of the talk.
John has
Thank you, Reza.
want to say something.
What was that? What was that, Mara?
I said we're seeing John Connors, but I see it's Ted.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, John thought I should say on mic, I just literally relocated at least the majority of my time here to Tulsa about 5 hours ago. And
wow.
So I'm available to anybody in the area. I've already gotten a note from somebody on a different project. I'm meeting at Antoinette's on Sunday at 3 o'clock for bread pudding and whatever they want to talk about. But I got to stay away from the bread pudding here. It's too good. But it's really great to be here. And I didn't know I would end up, it was again serendipitous that John reached out and said, when are you coming to town? I said, the 21st. He said, what are you doing at 6 o'clock? So it's good to be here and hope to meet everybody one-on-one later. But normally,
people that don't know, Ted is a good friend of ours.
Yeah.
Ted's on the board of Kwaai, and Ted's always been a champion of the projects that I've been working on. So thank you very much, Ted.
And Ted, we'd love to have you on as a mentor if you're available.
Absolutely. Yes.
He is a mentor. I haven't posted his post yet. But
Okay. Okay, good to know.
Just to speak in front of everybody online because we're speaking.
Do you guys mind?
What's that, Ira? Ira, do you know you're on mute?
No, I'm asking you if you don't mind.
No, please. What's going on? How can we help you?
No, that was accidental. Okay.
Oh.
Reza, great words of somber words of emergencies are real and they have real human consequences. And technology for emergency management has the hope of uplifting people, getting to people before they normally would be gotten to, potentially without these tools. And on that, this maybe less exciting portion of this evening is just where we want to create a system and structure. We have created a system and structure over 4 different hackathons that are socially focused of how to get from nothing to something. So the Big Bang is the thing to keep in mind right now. And right now in a hackathon, it's early stage and we're chaotic and tech issues and people talking. It's just fun. It's not perfect. It's sausage making. You're in the back of the house of a 5-star restaurant. And today we have the opportunity to make 5-star cuisine. And so everybody, Myra, do you mind if you drop again? I know you've done it already. The Google Doc. Yep. So we have a Google Doc called Hackathon Calendar Date Master. And that is our, I don't know if you guys know Jack Dorsey of Twitter, but he does all his meetings in Google Docs. And the reason why we have a Google Doc calendar is because we're making sausage and the calendar might change. And the easiest thing to change is a Google Doc rather than all the other pieces, because as we saw tonight, sometimes things fall through the cracks, and we'll make sure links are perfect moving forward. So we do apologize for that, but we're attempting to create the infrastructure to be both nimble and adaptable, as well as equip you with whatever it is you need. And the goal of this document is to equip you with historical data of who showed up for the last events and last agenda, as well as who's showing up for the next events and the next agenda.
And we have quite a few coming up.
Definitely have quite a few. We've got a curriculum for, so we're just going to quickly go through it tomorrow. Michelle spoke about it briefly. 10 a.m. a technical workshop. You don't have to use Mimik to compete here. That said, you have the opportunity to use Mimik, and Mimik is an exceptional hybrid edge technology that anybody who is inspired to use it. We aren't totalitarian. We're not going to force anyone to do anything. There's somebody tuning in, I think from Tulane University, from Tulsa University, not you, Ted. Somebody local who wants to build on their own OS.
Go for it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, thank you. You shared that screen. Thank you. So next is the community session, the first responder insights and emergency first principles. We're going to have Christopher Collins, who spoke tonight briefly. Christopher might get some of his active LA fire personnel. We might have, we're going to have Brad, we're going to have Victor and Dan as well on that call, but they'll be added to this list before the call tomorrow. Can you scroll down, please? Then we have, so get acclimated to this. I'm not going to go step by step through every portion of this calendar. I think that would be arduous. What I want to do is make sure that you see, if you scroll through, Myra, could you scroll down all the way to the submission deadline? Because that's the most important next step. So we have what are called stage gates according to Reza. Reza's language around, like as if we're horses in a pen about to race. What are the stage gates we're in? Right now we're in the ideation phase. But in order to be ready for the end, we must begin with the end in mind. And on March 5th at 4 p.m. is our final submission deadline. All code needs to be submitted to DevPost, which we'll get to shortly. Documentation needs to be complete, and demo videos need to be uploaded to the video channel on Slack, which is up further. I don't remember the name of it exactly. Hackathon submission videos. So imagine today, you don't need to know your team tomorrow. You don't need to know your team the next day. You need to understand the problem statements we're trying to explore. You know, we understand that this is the Big Bang. There is a level of chaos in the magic of it. And in the chaos is hopefully order, and we're bringing order through our creativity. And so this entire calendar is a curriculum meant to help you put chaos into order. And if we scroll down, Myra, to March 7th, please. 12 finalists are going to have the opportunity. We don't know how many teams we're going to create. So teams of 4 to 5. We might have 40 teams from who's shown up already today. We might not. We'll see. On March 6th, we're going to have a vote, both a public vote as well as that wasn't a highlight, but that's fine. We're going to have a public vote as well as a judge vote, official judge vote, and we're going to choose 12 finalists. On March 7th, Reza is the founder of Oak Venture Studios, and he's a Los Angeles CEO of Kwaai, who's a mover and shaker in the investor community. And he's handpicking investors for us to, some of us I'm actually going to show up and be there in person. So we didn't have in our curriculum the opportunity to give people the chance to win and have travel covered, you know, and give you enough time to book travel. So we're going to have the option for final videos to be shown. 12 finalist videos, 3-minute video presentations are going to be shown to directly impacted fire investors. These are people who, that even if they didn't live through the fire themselves, they are in Pasadena, inches from the embers, and really and truly touch, moved, and inspired, as we say in the landmark community, touch, moved, and inspired to open the checkbooks to make sure this never happens again, or if it does happen again, we handle it much more effectively. So with that in mind, I don't need to go through every single step of the calendar itself, but this calendar is meant as a stepping stone, as a layer of bricks, that each brick is meant to get us our KPIs, our key performance indicators, aren't just that we're going to give away $5,500 to the winner. That's not a win for us. A win for us here, and the reason why we have such a rich mentor network, is a $250,000 to $500,000 check at the Investor Summit for an incredible team that touched, moved, and inspired some of these handpicked investors to deploy their capital for the magic we bring to the table. So I want you to understand that this isn't just any other hackathon. This is an opportunity to change the world together, change emergency management together in a time when emergency management is transforming from a structural level. So the opportunity is maybe not as singular as the Big Bang, but in capitalist society, as close to the Big Bang as humanly possible, in AI technology for sure. So next step is dev post. Would you mind, Myra? Because you've been doing really great driving so far. Do you know the dev post link?
No.
Okay, it's in the Google Doc.
Okay, I'll find it.
It's in the Google Doc, the dev post link. So Luma registration, we assume you got here to do Luma. It was difficult. It was like a birthing process. And we thank you for birthing with us the opportunity to.
John, some people would not have come through Luma because Reza shared the direct Zoom link. So some people may have come directly via the Zoom link without having joined Luma.
Yeah, I thank you. I'm going to go through the dev post at this moment instead of showing the Luma, but thank you. Thank you, AZ. I really appreciate the context. So could you click on that, Myra, please?
Sure.
So we're going to click on the dev post link and we're going to go through it. This is the Hackathon Command Center. Things might change a little bit there. So the Google Calendar is the calendar master that will be changing and shifting. This is where we upload our information. Oh, sorry. Did we have the dev post? You had it just up a moment ago.
Yeah,
There
We
we go.
do. I'm just trying to close some links. Sorry.
No worries. So this is the Hackathon Command Center. If you click, could you please click on My Projects, Participants? So we're going to ask everybody, and you don't have to right now, to log into DevPost, at least by March 4th, because this is where you're going to join the hackathon, exactly, and where you're going to submit your project, not your video, but where you'll be able to submit the project itself, your code base, where your Google Docs of your documentation. Your video is going to be on the Slack channel because we're going to share your video with the investors. But this is where it's uploaded. It's like, for those of us in sales who know CRMs, it's like a hackathon resource management tool, you know. Participants at this point, you know, we're going to see hopefully 50 to 100 of us very shortly there. Resources are resources for right now at this stage, they're just mimik focused. We're going to have personal AI and Kwaai focused resources in the coming week or so. Rules. And thank you. You're really amazing, Mara. Thank you very much for the help. So participation requirements, if you're under 18, you can't work with us just because it doesn't make as much sense. What's that?
Legality.
Yeah, exactly. Open to teams up to 5 members. Like I said, if you had an inspired class of people that you wanted to work with, we can adjust this, but we're giving guidance here. You must have a valid DevPost account to be registered and be registered on Luma. So at some point, we can link back to Luma. Luma is where we're getting our email management system. I haven't behaved really well with it at times, so I've gotten us in trouble because Luma is not like old school email outreach. You need to have a very clean list, and I uploaded some less clean lists, so I apologize. So either you will be touched by us through Luma, or you'll be touched by us through a Kwaai account, probably Myra's account, for email outreach. 3 times a week, you should expect it. You must join the Kwaai Slack. You don't have to do all your work as a team in Kwaai Slack, but you must be in Kwaai Slack because that is one of the biggest treasure troves of human capital available to you in this event. And you must be able to work virtually. Oh, so we have a emergency alert.
The sound echoing so loud.
That's so funny. We're sorry about that. Everybody in the room's phone just went off because of the person who. Yeah. Anyways. So you must be able to present work first. So worst comes to worst, if you're selected as a finalist, we can take your video uploaded on 3.5 for the finalists. Thanks. Thank you. Yeah. So on 3.7 on the investor conference, not everybody's going to be able to show up in person or even show up virtually. We can do a pre-recorded element, but we did want to put in there that, you know, if selected as a finalist, to open up your availability at least to investor inquiry, because investors don't invest with people they don't know, and we want them to get to know you. So, and that obviously is only going to be applicable to those who make it. So projects must be original work. Even if you had an initiative prior to this, you must submit original work, create a new product feature. It's cool. Just make it new. Code must be newly written during the hackathon period. If you have to rework some of your old code, that's fine. Pre-existing resources listed are open source libraries, public APIs, standard development frameworks, and personal AI or mimic components as provided. Registration opens today at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Project submission deadline is posted up there. It's 3/6 at 4 p.m. and judging period will be done at winners announced on 3/7, timing to be determined. All submissions received by 4 p.m. on 3/6. Late submissions will not be considered. All project materials must be completed at the time of submission, and you must submit the 3-minute or less video to the Hackathon Product Showcase channel on Slack. So you can upload it to your own LinkedIn, to your own LinkedIn or your own YouTube or however you want to host it, but it has to be submitted to that showcase channel. And this is something we haven't discussed with our partners, with our sponsors, but according to us, anything built during this hackathon that is on open source software, participants retain ownership of their projects. Anything built on top of Mimic or personal AI, we haven't sorted that out. So we aren't a superimposed authoritarian body that we can demand from our sponsors them to change their rules. All we can say is that if you build something on open source software or on any other software that you retain the rights of the ownership of your project, you still retain those rights. You must
just jump in there. So this means that if you built it on top of Mimic, which is a for-profit system, you would then, if you're going to release that as a product, then there may be platform fees that occur. This is the same as if you were to build it on top of OpenAI, which ironically is not open. You end up, building a product that would be incurring API fees. So just be aware of that.
Thank you. Yeah, and there also may be ownership rights that I'm not aware of. That's why I was just stating what I'm saying, Reza. But if Michelle's still on the phone, she can chime in right now. But if not, we can circle back about that.
Okay, we will make sure that is clarified. In fact, he's going to be on tomorrow, and he'll be able to go deeper into that.
Tomorrow, 10 a.m.
Yeah, because they release their software not only as a cloud API, a network API, there's also an SDK to it, and so the licensing of that SDK, you need to understand the terms of that if you're building.
That's exactly what I'm getting at. 100%.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So judging and evaluation, the initial screening will be done by a technical review committee. It's basically the Kwaai OGs. Finalist selection will be by a panel of judges, and the panel of judges will also include input from the public, and we will have public voting on DevPost. And then there will be live demonstration opportunities for finalists. We understand that if you find out on noon or 1 p.m. on the 6th, travel on the 7th is difficult, especially for those of us here in Tulsa. So there will be an opportunity for you to both patch in live if you'd like, to do something pre-recorded if you're far away, or show up in person and get that money, get that bag. And the final winner selection will be based on judging criteria that's listed on DevPost. So here's the disqualification. And incomplete is funny because like you complete as far as you can complete your project, but just be complete with your incompleteness, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? We're not here to dictate that you have to have a fully working prototype, but don't leave us code base that's not functioning and think you're going to win. Violations of rules of the code of conduct, which we may adjust because they're pretty low barriers to entry. And then plagiarism or misuse of third-party IP, though with OpenAI, that's always a fun one of who's plagiarizing and who's not. And then inappropriate or harmful content will not be accepted. So, and lastly, code of conduct, professional and respectful communication, be good to others, do unto others as others would do to you. Create a collaborative and inclusive environment. Be honest, don't steal code from someone else and don't attribute it, and have fun.
Have fun.
Quick question, John.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I don't say anything incorrect. Sorry if I pronounced this incorrectly. Yelet asked, is there a specific channel for posting ideas? And AZ mentioned it to be the hackathon meet and greet.
Yes, AZ knows the deal. It's funny, AZ and I have hacked together and we haven't talked about organization of this. But yes, AZ, you nailed it. Hackathon meet and greet. And Yeled won. So the first Hack for Earth event I had done in 2018 was Yeled ended up winning with Carbon Zero, the Pokemon Go for carbon negative behaviors. She not only won our hackathon, she then won Climathon's hackathon. I think she won $1 million. You won some dough. And I just want to give you props for showing back up to hack again with us, Yeled. You rock.
Yep.
Yeled's
going to be on the investor side of the.
I wish COVID hit and all the prototypes that we had and the like partnerships got closed down. So
sorry.
Yeah.
That's okay. I mean, either way, you're a hackathon. Like you're a hackathon hustler, and that's not a negative word at all. You know how to make it work.
That's why I recommend having a specific channel for ideas, because the meet and greet, we're all just introducing ourselves and the ideas will get lost. So if there's a specific place for everybody to go and look at the ideas and be like, oh, this is what I want to join, I think it will be easier.
I appreciate that. We will circle back as an organizing team. I think meet and greet only because meet and greet, once the ideas are complete, if you do ideas in threads, but I do appreciate the feedback for sure.
Yeah. Something to think about.
Any questions?
Or maybe do both, a meet and greet and an ideas thread.
Well said.
Well, why don't we do this? John, do you want to start a thread, or Yeled, do you want to start a thread in meet and greet and call it ideas? I'll pin it to the channel.
No, because here's the deal. My thought was that each idea was going to have its own thread, and that meet and greet was going to have its own, threads of like, oh my God, this dev sitting out there in the wind. I want to get me some of that developer knowledge and goldenness in my. So hey, meet in my thread. So
Yeah.
I was under the assumption that would be valuable, but I like this sausage making, feedback loop we have going. What do you think, Galen?
I don't Slack very often. I don't know how easy it is to, follow threads. I like the idea of a channel where ideas start and then you make a channel for each project.
Yeah, I like that idea, but AZ's got his hand up.
Yeah, AZ, go ahead.
The idea, we have that, Myra, if you go to the channel summary for meet and greet, anytime an idea is mentioned, we can put it at the very bottom of the channel summary. So we can have the name of the person who proposed the idea and their idea, and then the idea can have a name. So let's, at the bottom of key links, if we create a new section, so whenever somebody mentions an idea, it gets moved down here and people know who to reach out to for that idea. And that way we have a central location so the ideas don't get lost. You know, we may have 5, we may have 20, but it's not going to be an infinite number. So if we can use the bottom of this channel summary for ideas, it enables us to maintain, because you don't want too many channels. We're getting to the point where it may be too many channels. So yeah, so if that works for everybody, then we use meet and greet as intended, and ideas that are proposed let's add a new heading below key links. Let's say ideas, and yeah, you can just copy key links. There you go.
Myra, can you show us exactly what AZ is talking about? Because that's a hell of a proposal.
Thank you.
That's it.
I
don't think everybody who uses Slack understands Canvas. I didn't until Reza and AZ pushed for it in my sphere. I never cared about it, but it is a valuable tool. And let me see if you're on there. I need to click to the other screen.
Yeah, it's being shown, John. Thank you, Myra. Yes. And then below that, bullet points.
So for those of us here in person in Tulsa, messages are here under Hackathon Meet and Greet to the left-hand side at the very top. And then I guess it is called channel summary rather than Canvas. I was very confused by that, but you learn something new every day in the moment. And so the proposal is under key links here, which we want to set you up to be able to work without us. Have team ideas under Hackathon Meet and Greet that will have a link. They'll have a name of the idea and then a link to the thread so that everybody will be able to see in the thread, and we will update that as admins accordingly. Does that meet your requirement for organization based on what you're thinking right now?
Yep.
Awesome.
Now that was an example of a hackathon, people solving a problem together. There you go. Thank you.
I love it. I love the sausage making in real time and the lack of fear of the unknown. So the Google document is in Slack. Where is the Google document in Slack? In the Canvas. The meeting summary.
Master event calendar that
yeah, I know it's in 4 of the channel canvases. I don't think it's in every channel canvas. So I was just thinking I will ding you if you can't find it after this.
No, it's in almost every canvas except for the new channels you created, John.
I know.
Okay, so this is a clickable link, just FYI.
We have community support coming through, so thank you. Other questions, comments? Oh, please, Reza.
We're both editing the same thing. I just suggest you have a table there.
I know. I stopped with my idea 1.
Fantastic. Idea name, idea description, and who. Okay. Who's doing it?
I love that. I think it's a good way to keep it to fewer channels, but more concise. I just want to go through everything that you have listed for tonight, John, and make sure it's covered. And if anyone has questions, that we make sure we address them.
Sure, Myra. Well, we addressed the join channels hackathon thing, which I was going to give to you earlier on in the meeting.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we need to address that again, but that's fine if we do. And then I think we hit everything. I think we hit every other point, but please note if we missed anything.
Yep. Please raise your hands. Let us know if you're missing any information. If you have any questions, I want to make sure this.
Roger wants to chime in. Roger, by the way, is a regenerative agriculture OG leader, and he's present with us today. Thank you for joining us, Roger.
Thanks, John. Yeah, and I'm also functionally hackathon illiterate, but that's why Junior is here with me, because he's the geek in the family. We were trying to find this whole Google Doc, and I'm in the purple page. Can you say again where to find the canvas?
So there's multiple canvases.
Okay.
So if you're in the Google document, right?
No, I'm in the Get Started Kwaai. I'm in the Kwaai AI lab.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm in Slack.
AI? Okay.
No,
No, sorry.
he's in Slack, and so you just want to know.
You know where he's at.
Okay.
So
if you're in Kwaai AI lab, you're gonna go right here where it says more.
Okay, hold on. I've got to, there we are. I've got to do 2 screens. So now I've got to do 2 screens. So I can watch her and more. Where's more?
3 dots.
The 3
dots. Aha.
So when you hover on that,
canvases.
And then you go down to channels.
Channels, yeah.
Click on that.
Okay.
And then here where it says search for channels, just type in hackathon.
Okay.
And press enter.
A whole bunch of things come. Okay.
So now you'll see all the hackathon channels.
Okay.
And you don't need to actually click on the channel. You can just hover on it and then click where it says join.
Join that one.
And then you can join all of them.
Meet and greet. Okay. Join. Okay.
But he wanted to know, now he's joined, he wants to know how to navigate to the canvas or the channel summary.
Well, let's make sure he's in the channel.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm in meet and greet now, or I've joined it, right?
So then we go, let me navigate to the channel. And so what you land on are going to be where the messages are. If you go to the right or left, I always mess that up. There's what we call channel summary, and that's the canvas. So if you click on that, it'll show you all the links that are, what was the word you used, Reza?
Evergreen. Evergreen.
Yes. So these are the main links that you need. It also mentions who you may need to reach out to if you have any particular issues. Action items. The master calendar right here as well.
Okay.
And the suggested channels to join. I would say join all the hackathon channels. That way you have access to, you know, the depth of information that is in each one, which is
okay, that won't cause sensory overload.
I will help you if you want to reach out to me one-on-one, and I can kind of show you how to create a group where all your hackathon channels are in one place, so you don't feel like it's just a lot of noise.
Okay.
Yeah, Myra, it's a great point. So Roger, just quickly, just with one sentence, could you then, Roger, Reza, I told you about Roger's project, right? Can you tell us about your project with which you have a patent for that you want to build here?
Automated fire detection and suppression system using AI-controlled drones and dry ice deployment.
Fantastic. I'd invest in that.
I love it.
You go describe that in Shark Tank and they'll say, yes, I'm in. Okay.
Yeah.
Roger, another question. Can you tell us what the word Kwaai means? K-W-A-A-I.
No, I can't, but I just remember, didn't we watch the movie Bridge on the River Kwaai?
No, come on, Roger.
Reza?
I can tell a fellow South African a mile off. So the word Kwaai, what does it mean in Afrikaans?
Kwaai. Kwaai, yeah, ik weet niet.
It means angry or wild.
Kwaai.
Right.
Yeah. Kwaai,
But in Cape Town, it's got a kind of a hip hop connotation. It means cool.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I was never cool.
It was never cool. Okay. So that's the name of our organization, Kwaai. Okay.
Okay.
So much.
Yeah, you see, the problem is I'm Rhodesian, and we're a little bit different. You see.
Gosh. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're
so
the northern
sorry for making for accusing you of being a South African.
if you were American, then my standard answer is, don't worry, all you Mexicans make that mistake.
That's all Canadians get really upset when they get mistaken for being American when they're abroad.
Yeah.
Okay, they'll pull you up on it. Okay, my
So
focus.
I didn't say Kwaai because I thought I was like Kwaai is angry. I didn't think you'd have an angry lab, but cool Kwaai. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
But yeah, so we've got the idea, and we're obviously hoping that within this group we can help build it all out.
Fantastic.
And earlier, Michael McKay was on it. I think he's dropped off, but he's the old guy who is mentoring my son and is infinitely knowledgeable of all things technology related. So yeah, it's just more of a learning experience, and John suggested that I join up and kind of get the idea out there.
Thanks, Roger. Yeah, I mean, you can do even a voice note if you want to do a little pitch. So the point of the Meet and Greet channel, now that you're in, and I'm glad we're all learning, we all have our own technical competence and technical capacity with our devices. And so this is a really fun mishmash of multiple skill sets. But once you're in to Meet and Greet, you can pitch however you're comfortable. If you want to do a screen share video, if you want to do I do voice notes, and some people don't love them, but it's because I have a shaky right hand and I'm not a very fast typer. So I like to type through my voice. And the idea of building a team is all about inspiration. Roger, you know how to inspire people. You're OG, regenerative inspirer. But for those of us who don't know how to build teams, this is one part of this curriculum we haven't talked about. So envisioning how do you inspire people is really something you're going to have to maybe ask ChatGPT how to do it. You know what I mean? Or I'm into self-development courses or whatever it is you do. If you just explain what you do and you don't inspire somebody, why would anyone want to join your team? You know what I mean? So you got to inspire the heart and soul of a person as much as touch upon the technical capacity of it. And I'm inspired by Roger's project because he's like dry ice at the moment of ignition, mother of fire. That's exciting, viable, and possible. So any other questions at this moment?
So that was great that you talked about joining teams, especially when everyone's coming from not necessarily knowing anyone else. So do you have any ideas of how people can create teams if they don't organically find somebody in the channels?
Yeah. So I hope I'm not.
Who should they reach out to? Is there a
So
way?
everybody in the Canvas, my phone number and my email and my DM is available. Myra, you're a Slack head. I'm the community head here, and I'm willing to. What's that?
I said, and if anyone has questions, please find me, and I can help you. And of course, John is leading the hackathon, and AZ is a great resource. So please reach out.
AZ hands up, but I just want to finish the answer to the question. If people ask in the Slack, we are like a collective animal. You know what I mean? You don't need to go through anybody. You don't need to go through as much as Ira. I loved your assertion that you want to be the one that people, mentors go through. That's really beautiful. I think we can set this up where mentors can just tag themselves as mentors, and we give the opportunity. There's no barrier to entry. You know what I mean? And the idea is, if you want to give, you give. If you want to pitch a team, you pitch a team. And if you can't find a team, shout out administrators on Slack. Shout out me in particular, AZ, Myra, Reza, Ira, Brad, Christopher. You know, those of us who are sitting here thinking and talking about making this happen, and we'll get you on a team. AZ, please.
The idea of that ideas table that we all just saw, that is a place where either you want to get your idea, or if you can't find a team, go and look at the ideas. And that may be inspiring. So that those ideas may inspire you to come up with an idea of your own, or just reach out to the person. See right there? And Roger's
it's happening right now in front of your very eyes.
You're seeing the sausage being made. So you guys can go to Roger because his name's going to be on the right with his handle, which is his Slack ID. And you'll
Yes, please do the @Roger. That would be great for people to find you.
Yeah.
Do the what?
If
The
you put an
sign.
before your name, then let me show you. I'm going to type it and then R, and it'll find you.
Share the screen so people can see.
Oh, sorry. Hold on, Reza. Stop doing.
Okay.
Undo.
I'm going to undo that. Okay.
Please undo that. There we go.
Okay, you're going to show?
While you do it, yes.
Wow. Okay, cool. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. We need to get you a faster computer. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to type and then RO, and it gives me the list of all the people. Oh, look, it finds Roger. There we go. And I click on that, and now it's not just got your name. It's got a link to you in particular.
So if I click on this,
Mhm.
it will actually. Okay, give it a second. It'll bring this up so that I can message you, or probably don't huddle somebody. Message someone first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Message saying, is it okay if we have a chat, and then you huddle, and then you can have a conversation.
Okay, and as I was typing that, it was real time, and you guys were seeing what I was trying to type. Okay,
Absolutely,
good.
yeah. So this is the collaboration platform, the communication platform for joint hacking. This is how you organize.
You already have ideas. Look at that.
No, that's somebody else who typed that. Somebody asked AI, maybe ChatGPT, and came up with these ideas. It'd be nice to know who did that so that we can,
It's Paul.
That was Paul. Gotcha. Thank you, Paul.
So my reason for bringing this up was I don't want anyone to feel like you don't have your group. We want to make sure you'll find your group, that you'll find your place, that you'll find a way to either contribute to the ideas that you're interested in or voice the ones you're interested in and have a team join you. That was my point.
Okay. Fantastic. So look, as these things become bigger, you would move this description, you'd move it to a Google Doc, and you become the author of that Google Doc, and you give everyone else comment access. And that's how it progresses there from a single one-line description to something that's more detailed, and ultimately you're building up a product description. And we take this through the stage gates of a startup. This is, the journey a startup would take over 1 or 2 years. We're going to do this in 2 weeks, in 12 days, in fact. So the first phase is where you stay in the problem domain and you really try and tease out what is the problem we're solving here. And you try and describe that in concrete ways. Now, you're not just, well, it's going to help you, but that once you've described that problem in a very concrete way, it actually helps you elicit collaboration from others. And then you move now to, okay, now I'm going to go into the solution mode. Right, what does a solution look like? Now, Roger, you've already rushed ahead. I'm going to put out fires by dropping big blocks of carbon dioxide, solid CO2 on it. Fantastic. Okay, but stay in the problem domain of that for a while. Think about all the problems that you'd have to overcome in order to be able to deploy a solution like that, and you'll find it very valuable because that'll inform your solution. And
I'm smiling because this idea was formulated about 14 years ago, so it's been in this stage for a long time.
Cool. Okay. Well, look, you're off to the races now. Okay. Thanks very much.
See, you had a question.
I have something to mention. Sorry, Paul, the ideas that you mentioned, there is such a thing as too much AI. And what we would ask is if you can take that content that you pasted in there, copy it, cut it, because we need to keep the bottom of the channel clean, create a Google Doc. And you can use that Google Doc as an entry in the table. You can say that these are ideas from you, but you don't own them. But if we avoid people putting lots of ideas at the bottom, it keeps the Slack space clean, that channel summary. So the ask is please take that content, cut it from that space, don't leave it there, and put it in a Google Doc and put a link to that Google Doc in that table. Put your name next to it, even if you don't own it, and people can talk to you about it. But yeah, that's the ask. Thank you very much.
And everybody, AZ is going to be doing our product sync number 3 on our master calendar. He's diligent in product best practices, and it makes a lot of sense. Thank you. Brad.
I don't want to be the downer guy here, but I'm talking to Victor and I'm talking to Dan Stinson. And if I can take like 2 minutes, John, just to share a story so people really understand what this is about, is that cool?
Go for it.
Yes, go for it.
So I'm going to share my screen here. Can you see this young baby? This is Mohammed Rashundil. This picture was taken outside the northwest outer gate at the Taliban checkpoint at the Hamid Karzai airport in Kabul, August 27th. 12 hours earlier, this baby was born on a bus of 13 buses waiting to get into the airport into U.S. safe control to get out of the country. The day before that, I sat right here on these computers and I watched all these monitors as the Abbey Gate blew up and killed people we knew in front of us. Now, I want to share this because I'm the guy in the chair usually. I do some stupid things occasionally, but I'm not Victor and I'm not Dan. This is Victor Esch. So Victor Esch, I didn't know till a year later, one bus ahead of my bus at that gate was the bus Victor was running for over a year, full of his Afghan ally brothers and sisters that built the Afghan fire services. And those gates blew, everybody ran. Victor's as tough as it gets. This is Dan Stinson from our deck. Dan Stinson led the global war on terror. He is the most dangerous human being on the planet. I guarantee you that the three of us, August 26th, I sat right there on that floor and I wept. It might have been 30 minutes or 3 hours, I don't remember, because I watched hundreds of people die. 2 months ago, Dan was with Victor Marx's team in Haiti when the country fell again, with 3 guys from Delta Force trying to secure 1,000 kids in an orphanage against 4 gangs. A month before that, Victor Esch was in North Carolina screaming on the phone at FEMA that this dam is going to break because he went up in the hills and talked to the old guys in the hollers who said, remember 1908? And then he watched literally thousands of people die. And there are more dead bodies in the Carolina mountains right now in the mud. It'll take a decade to find. I went about 4 months after this to Mayfield, Kentucky, and slept on a church floor for a week. And literally people were trying to profit off of like making money for volunteer stuff while they were still picking body parts off the ground from the people that died in that tornado. So I don't want to be a downer here, but I'm talking to Victor right now. I'm talking to Dan right now. We've seen thousands of people die in front of us and on our screens that didn't need to die because we didn't have the tools that you get to build right now. That is the light of the world. So you're going to make money on it. It's cool as hell. It's going to be great for everybody. But right now, no one knows where FEMA's going. No one knows what's going to happen. And I was telling Reza on a private message earlier, like, you know, Victor's son lives in LA now. And you have the tools to literally protect and defend the sanctity of human life. And what's been lost that we saw in the Afghan evac, we've seen what's happening now in DC, is that everyone's shuffling for political power, for money, to be on CNN or to be on, you know, Facebook. But humanity and the sanctity of human life matters. And I promise every one of you that if you can build tools that will protect human lives, when we use those tools and save lives, we will tell you, we will call you and we'll let you meet them. And I can assure you that's the best thing there is in life. So making money is cool, building cool AI is cool, but you're doing something right now that, so Victor is about Victor's about as badass as a human being as it gets despite Stinson. And he's excited right now because you're building tools that he could really have used to save thousands of lives 2 months ago. That's exciting stuff. So I hope everyone digs in and goes to your deepest place, because you have a chance right now to change the narrative of how we protect our own humanity. That's some awesome stuff.
That actually is a really important part to end on, because as we might joke and you know, bring humor into it, I think the bigger idea of the cause is something you highlighted really well. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Brad. And I hope I wasn't being flippant with saying that there's money on the table.
No,
and I mean,
you got to get paid, brother. I mean, Stinson ran the UAE place. Stinson saved 15,000 Afghans in the UAE because he paid his people. He paid the best people and let them profit. Chris Cooper knows this. You don't get guys like Chris and experts to come to the table and risk their lives without getting paid. Let people get paid. Let the people with the best ideas make money. I'm not excluding Chris, because Chris is part of our team too, and Chris has been in the worst of it. But you're allowing opportunity, because Chris is like entrepreneur 101, man. Mr. Cooper knows how to make money. But like, we don't let firefighters do that. We don't let our soldiers do that. You guys are giving people like Chris Cooper and Victor Esch and Dan Simpson the opportunity to actually build a tool that saves lives, that helps make their families safer too. That's awesome. What you're doing, John and Reza, this is good stuff. Light of the world.
Thank you.
and Brad, just to note, and we appreciate the reflection. It's everybody here that shows up that's going to build. Reza and I aren't catalysts on any teams. We're mentoring the community, and the community catalysts are going to be builders. And so it's everybody here. And thank you for joining.
And there's some like 21-year-old kid right now that doesn't know it. He's going to save thousands of lives next week. That's awesome. Let's find that kid.
Love that. Reza, any words to close on after that poignant speech from Brad?
Yeah, really... so when I was asking John, you recall, I said, John, when it was 3 or 4 months ago, you said, hey, I'm the guy to run your hackathon. And he said, you asked me, how many ideas do we want? And I said, well, 100 would be good. And he said, okay, you're going to need to have about 500 people responding, because there's a 5-to-1 drop off of the people that say, yes, I'm actually going to come, to those that turn up on the day. And gosh, you were so right. We had about 250 people RSVP yes across Luma and across all the various channels. And the people on this call, at the height of it, there were 50 people on the call, maybe 52 at the height of it. So look, you are the people that show up. You are actually the cavalry. You're not the ones sitting at home that are, yeah, oh, that's really bad. Oh, wow, I wish I could have done something about it. No, you're the ones that actually step up. So pat yourselves on the back for taking charge and taking responsibility and taking ownership for an issue. I think that is an admirable human quality. And we need more of that. So thank you so much. We're going to go through, there's going to be a fantastic next 10 to 12 days. And I'm looking forward to going along on the journey with you.
Get creative.
Yeah. Thanks so much to Myra. Thanks to John. Thanks to all of the Kwaai staff, to AZ, all of the folks that run the back office of Kwaai. You know, we're an organization of about 800 volunteers. No one's getting paid. We're just moved by the mission to make AI truly uplifting for humanity. Okay, on that note, John, to you.
Thanks for what inspirational words for sure. And yeah, I mean, the next step is, and we'll be guiding you on the Slack, come to tomorrow's 10 a.m. Pacific time. We're going to be rooted in Pacific time because the fires, the embers of the ashes of the fires were Pacific focused. And so it just makes it easier than being not focused in one geographical region. And so come to that and come to the community session with Brad and Christopher and the superhero team tomorrow afternoon. And let's begin the process of sorting through ideation and meet and greet. Let's meet our people. Let's introduce ourselves, have huddles offline. You know, I mean, initiative is what makes this happen. And list your projects in the way that Myra and Roger taught us how to do already. Love the in-person learning real time. So thank you everybody for showing up.
John, could you mention the fact that people can mention ideas? You don't have to be in a session. You can list an idea in the space, you know, in a meeting chat, or if you can formalize it the way Roger did, you can put it in that table at the bottom of the not canvas, what are we calling it? Channel summary. There's nothing
As a
stopping
pitcher,
You just did, AZ. Thank you very
well
much.
said. As someone who pitches ideas, it fails frequently. Like I had an idea session on Wednesday that failed. And I'd say do it in the channel first. Only put it in the table once it's crystallized. And Roger has he bought IP today, so he's crystallized. He's got a team, he's ready to go. So, I mean, but if you have an idea and nobody shows up to your idea, then maybe that's feedback that nobody will buy it. You know what I mean? So appreciate the courage, everybody. Thank you so much. And any last word?
Sorry, meeting recordings. If people aren't able to make, for example, tomorrow's call, where can they expect that recording to be?
It'll be posted.
Recording.
In the Hackathon Help Desk was the intention there, and it's going to be a rough edit just to make sure that everybody gets the information timely.
Okay, perfect. So that was for
Philippa's got a hand up.
One last closing question. So we actually come with a group. We have to work out our idea. So can we? I just want to should we start registering like underneath on that channel summary so that you can account for everybody and know kind of who has the groups and who doesn't?
Yeah, and if you don't want, like, if you want to create your own private channel, we didn't get to that earlier.
We are your midnight geo hackers.
Okay, yeah, so Myra is the Hackathon channel Slack general. So you reach out to her and she will guide you into if you want to make a private channel because you already have it.
We did. We're already there. That's why I just wanted to know if you should just register it under the Hackathon meeting greet.
I think the reason why John was sending it to me was because we wanted to have one format for how all the channels were labeled. But Philippa, if you are on Slack, I'll find you and I'll message you. And if you want to name your channel that certain way, that way we know all the different team groups.
Perfect. Yeah, I didn't name it, but it's fine. It's all good. It's part of our. We sort of coalesced early, so I just wanted to make sure we were sort of documented and following. That's why I wanted to bring it up.
Okay. Okay. So, great. I'll speak to you on Slack then.
Fantastic. Thank you. Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
So now the communications continue on Slack and the Zoom is over, correct?
Exactly. Have a good evening.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
Over and out.
The recording